p.m. That's not factual. Anyway, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Notice this meeting will be held in accordance with Executive Order N29-20 issued by California Governor Gavin Newsom on March 17, 2020. Ralph M. Brown Act, California Government Code Section 54950 ETSEQ, and the Federal Americans with Disability Act. This meeting will not be physically open to the public. All members of the public may participate in the meeting via video conferencing at, and it's 99539688535, and via telephone conferencing by calling 669-900-6833. Meeting ID is 99539688535. And will be given the opportunity to provide public comment. With that, I'd like everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance of the flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Murray, would you do the honor of the invocation?
I certainly will. Thought for the day: therefore encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. That's from 1 Thessalonians 5:11. Let's pray. Most gracious Father, during this time we ask your support and courage, help our courage as we fight this coronavirus and the other issues that are facing our state and nation. Protect our citizens, our county, our state, and our federal governments. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And thank you, Murray.
Welcome,
Michael,
sir.
could we have roll call, please?
Sure, Mayor. Councilmember Day,
Present.
Councilmember Graham,
Here.
Councilmember McDonald,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Candia,
Here.
Mayor Martina.
Present.
All present and accounted for.
Thank you very much, Michael. Number 5 is declaration of conflict of interest. There being any tonight?
None.
Okay, I've heard
None.
so we're going to go with none. Moving on to item 6, ceremonial matters. There is none tonight. 7 is item from the public. These are non-agenda items. Anybody would like to speak to the council? All they do is they raise their hand and they will be recognized by our attorney, and then they will be able to talk to the council. So do we have anyone that indicated they wanted to make any comments?
I'm not seeing anyone. No.
Okay. There being none, we'll move on to number 8, which is consent calendar. Waive all readings of ordinance, resolution except by title. B, approval of warrants. C, approval minutes of the August 25th, 2020 meeting. D, a resolution authorizing the city manager or fire chief to apply for and execute any future agreements with the Department of Forestry and the Fire Protection for Volunteers, 506 VFA granting funds. E, adopt resolution number 2020, next number, declaring the results of the special mail ballot election held on August 25th, 2020 of the registered voters in the Northwest Territory proposed annexation to the city of Newman.
I move that we approve the.
Go ahead, Casey.
I move that we approve the consent calendar as read.
I'll second it.
the motion.
Okay, we have a motion in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Number 9 is a public hearing. There is none tonight. Move on to 10, which is regular business. Awarding the FHWA on-call engineering service contract to Covina Engineering, Inc., authorizing the city manager to enter with an agreement with Covina Engineering, Inc.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll take this up. The item before you is the second part of having all our engineering services covered. So in April, we advertised and received 5 proposals, and 3 of them were rated and ranked. 2 of them were not responsive. 1 was requiring some missing required information, and 1 we received after the deadline, so they weren't qualified. As you can see, we're already in September, and that is because this is a Caltrans process. We have to get approval every step of the way as we go forward with getting an engineer to handle our FHWA contracts, which is our local assistance funds, which are going to do projects like the Highway 33 Inyo intersection, the Fig Lane pedestrian sidewalks, the Main Street rehabilitation, and any and almost all transportation projects have some component of local assistance. And so there's really stringent requirements for engineering firms to be able to do these types of contracts, and the effort on that they have to put forth to have these projects approved and designed to Caltrans standards is really intense. And we started this process in April. It's already September, and literally that's how long it took to get Caltrans approval every step of the way. And so Govea was ranked by our independent panel, which is staff and an outside agent. We read all their qualifications, and what we ranked them on is their history and experience of doing Caltrans projects. We also rank them on their familiarity and availability for the city of Newman. We rank them on their qualifications. Basically, there was 6 different Caltrans forms that they had to have complete and in their package. And then they also had to meet a disadvantaged business enterprise percentage, which is 14% for this contract, which means they have to employ and use contractors that are owned by and qualified by Caltrans to be a disadvantaged business enterprise. And so as we went through the process, we got to the point to where we ranked Govea #1. And so we know that they'll be able to do a good job for us. They've been doing these types of projects, and so they're all in the middle of designing everything now, and they'll be taking a couple projects to bid here in September, and helping us work through all of our projects that we've got going. We had some good consultants submit qualifications and proposals, but they did score above everyone else. And so we recommend that we award this contract. It'll be a 5-year contract. They'll be paid based on what the fees are as it relates to the architectural and engineering services, which is what you guys just approved through the Caltrans chapter. And so there's a defined amount that they're allowed to charge us that's based on Caltrans requirements. So they'll only be able to charge us those fees, and it's based on each project. And so we don't, depending on how many projects we have over the next 5 years, which is what we want to award this contract for, they can only be paid up to $990,000, which is almost $1 million, but that's for every transportation project that we would put forth, and it would be part of the construction. This will allow them to do the architectural and engineering services, and then they'll do like the land surveying, contract management, just for these FHWA projects. And as you know, the last meeting you did award the engineering services, which are general city engineering services that don't have anything to do with the FHWA. You awarded that to Govea. That's a whole separate thing. And so I'll take any questions from you, but we do recommend that you award this contract to Govea.
So I have a couple questions for you,
Sure.
Kathy.
Sure.
Is that basically, I guess the last meeting we had, a question in reference to the contracts going out. It sounds like we got a good engineer here, and so it's a 5-year contract. So what if the projects go over the 5 years? Is that contract going to go back out to bid?
Yes. So when we get pretty much, we start the 5th year, then what we'll do is we'll put this out again because it's an 8-month process to be able to award these kinds of contracts to these engineers for local assistance projects. So we'll go out to bid again, regardless of whether our projects are partially done or in the middle of them, because another engineering firm would be able to come in and it might take a little time to get them up to speed, but they would be able to do that. And so we would put it out to bid again, and then we would start the process. Even to put the RFQ out, the RFP out for this project, we had to get Caltrans approval for the actual RFP. And there has to be certain criteria in there from Caltrans. And so, yes, it would go out to bid again. It'll go out before the 5th year expires. It will have a new engineer, whether it's them or not, whoever ranks and goes through the whole process again. And there'll probably be changes because Caltrans changes things every year. And then we also have a clause in the agreement that we can terminate this agreement. And so we would very, very carefully consider that. If it was something that we needed to do, I would most likely just yell at them until they gave us what we needed. But we do have that clause. If we need it, then we could terminate this process, this engineering contract.
Now, what if, even after, before the 5 years, that there is another part that needed to be added on? In other words, these different projects that are coming up, and let's say there's 4 or 5 projects, and all of a sudden we see we need to add 2 more projects. How is that handled?
So what we're doing is we're approving a length of time and a not to exceed amount for this engineering firm. So any projects, and I expect that we'll have many more than just 5 or a couple.
Right.
Well, this is going to be to do with every project that we put out that is FHWA related. And so there'll be many projects. Those projects, they'll be under contract to design and carry the project through. And then when the contract to build the project, that will continue to go out to bid, and you guys will award those projects. Every single project, those will be brought to you after we put them out to bid, which is part of what this engineering firm will help us do. They'll put the specs together according to Caltrans standards, and they'll put it out to bid, and then we'll all open bids together, and then they'll tell me, I recommend you give it to this person because they're either the low bidder, they're qualified, they're responsive, it came in at a good price. So we'll look at all those things with this engineering firm, and then I would bring it to you to award the contract to construct. And so there's still bidding and more awarding to give the construction of all these projects to different companies. This is only for the design and engineering portion of our transportation projects. And Caltrans requires, to be able to get any of this funding, we have to have an on-call engineering service like this. We have to have an agreement with somebody that's qualified. Otherwise, we have to go through this 8-month process for every single project. And so it's better for our small city to have what they call this is an on-call engineering service, which means when I say, or Michael tells me, okay, we want to pave Canal School. So then we tell Govea and say, okay, we need to pave school. So let's start designing it. And then we go through the COG, we apply for the FHWA funding. We're allocated a certain amount every year, so we get to use those funds. So and then you guys with all of our lists. So we have the, SB1 list of projects, the Measure L list of projects, all those lists of projects is how we pull what project we're going to be doing. And so that's what they would be helping us with, carry us through to where we can use that money to construct road projects.
Well, thank you so much, Kathy.
You're welcome.
I think we're so blessed to have you, sister. So hang in there.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You mentioned that if you're not getting what you have to from them, that you'll yell at them and that kind of thing. We put a provision on the previous contract, and we'll probably, if I make a motion, we'll probably want to add that same provision.
For the termination of the project?
For monitoring and reporting back to the council when they're not meeting expectations.
Yes, of course.
Correct.
Course. And I'll start giving you more updates on what they give us, me and Michael, updates on all of our projects they're working on. And so I'll talk to Michael about it, and maybe that would be something appropriate to share with you as we go forward through the meetings, so you can really see the effort that they're putting in on our behalf.
Well, on the previous contract, there was some question about their ability to maintain schedules and monitor and so forth. So I'm still concerned about that same issue.
I feel really comfortable with the project that the effort that they give us, that we have a lot of projects going, as I indicated at the last meeting. And so, but they do pull through, they meet deadlines. There's so many deadlines with Caltrans that they've got to meet them to be able to get we have to put in requests for authorizations, then we get the E76, then we get, there's so many steps that they have to meet to be able to get it to where we can actually build. And so I feel comfortable. And when I start feeling uncomfortable, then I give them more attention and ask them for more. And then they have performed for me.
Casey, do you have a comment?
No, I disagree with I disagree with your sentiment on that. I was on the same page with you. I was going to ask the same things.
Okay.
We can certainly do that.
We had some concerns expressed on the previous contract with Govea for the city services. And I want to make sure that you explained to us just now that there's a tremendous amount of work that's required for these FHWA projects. And so we want to maintain a level of cognizance on Govea's performance throughout both the city contract and the Caltrans contract.
Okay. Of course.
Any further questions to Catherine? There being none.
I have no more.
I'm sorry. Did someone have a question? Okay, then I'm going to move on. I'm going to open this up to the public. Are there any public comments? Please let me know if anyone's on the line and wants to make a comment regarding just regular business.
I don't see any hands up.
Okay, then we'll bring it back to the council for direction.
I recommend that we award the FHWA on-call engineering services contract to Govea Engineering Incorporated, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Govea Engineering Incorporated with the added condition that the city manager and the public works director monitor Govea's activities and notify the city council of any issues.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. We're going to move on to B. Approval amendment number 1 to the building permit services agreement with CSG Consultants.
Thank you, Mayor. Oh, thank you, Mayor. I'll take that one. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So the city has had a contract with, originally our contract started with a precision inspection company, and that dates back to the early 1990s. They're a local company. They've been providing plan check and inspection services since that time. In April 2012, Precision then merged with a group called CSG Consulting, who assumed the contract with the city. As recently as 2018, the city entered into a new 3-year agreement with CSG Consulting for those inspection and plan check services. Earlier this year, CSG reached out to the city, and we kind of entered into some dialogue with respect to trying to change the methodology for how they were compensated for their services. CSG had indicated that the current methodology wasn't working for them, and they weren't meeting their needs. So again, we kind of worked on something and never really came to an agreement. So a couple months ago, 60 days ago, roughly, they went ahead and provided a 60-day notice as required by our existing contract that they were going to go ahead and terminate the agreement. Last month in August, we resumed talks again, and we were able to come to a resolution on how we could restructure an agreement that met their needs. It's also meeting the city needs as well. So with that, again, under the current agreement, CSG Consulting gets 75% of the building permit fee to provide inspection services and building technician services. And then there's a separate fee for the plan check portion of it, for which they also get 75% and the city gets 25%. Under the new agreement, under the proposed amendment, if you will, CSG would be receiving an hourly rate for their inspection services, as well as an hourly rate for their plan check fees. As attached to your report, there's an attachment called Exhibit B. Exhibit B talks about the different types of building permits and how much time a building inspector needs to perform those services, so we would actually know, have an expectation if there's a re-roof permit, what we're going to get billed at that particular time. Plan checks a little bit harder. Not all plan checks are the same. Not all draftsmen are the same on there as well. But we would keep an eye on what their billable rates were on that, and then we would pay them on an hourly rate. And then the city would recoup that cost through the building permit and the plan check fees. In the meantime, we would bring things in-house. We would bring the intake of the building permits into City Hall. We're still working out the details on how that's going to work out, but we think we can do it in the drop box outside or through an appointment. We would use existing staff who would be trained by CSG to go ahead and do the data entry onto those building permits. And then she could forward them to plan check via electronically, because a lot of things are now being submitted electronically. So then she would just forward those off to CSG, which is actually downstairs, and they could do that electronically, and they could do the plan check, and then it would go back and forth with the building permit. A lot of our building permits these days are done over the counter. As you can imagine, we're doing a lot of smaller projects, re-roofs, maybe a remodel, water heaters, solar kind of projects. We don't have any real vacant land available right now. We don't have any developers. All the existing lots, finished lots, all the building permits have been pulled. And so CSG would complete any building permit that has been issued prior to September 15th. They would see that one all the way through with inspection under the existing agreement. This new agreement would take place September 16th and move forward from there. The one last thing we've talked to CSG a little bit about is there may be a need for them to kind of just review the work of our building tech person who's going to be doing that work. And if they did that and had to look at the permit, there would be a $34, which is about half an hour fee for that as well. As part of your package, there is something called Exhibit A, and it says Amendment Number 1 or Amendment effective September 15, 2020, Exhibit A. That's not the final draft, because our final one right now is in our legal counsel, and they're just kind of putting it in a different format. But what I've described to you today is the intent and the methodology would not change. Just the structure of the First Amendment would actually change. It'd be more in a legal kind of format than what you're seeing here. So with that, we're asking you to go ahead and approve Amendment Number 1 to the existing building permit services contract with CSG. That this contract expires around July of 21. So we'll give us about 3 months to see how this is working out, and then we can have another conversation with the council probably around the first of the year and see if they want us to go out to RFP and see if we can get another company to come in and provide that service, or if it's really working out, then we can do some negotiations about a contract extension. So with that, I can answer any questions that the council may have.
Do you see an impact on our total costs going up or staying the same, or?
I'm anticipating that it's going to be the same. I'm anticipating that there might be a little bit more of a cost going forward, just because we're going to be paying our staff instead of paying their staff. If we would have went fully on to paying their staff, all their staff an hourly rate, our cost would have went up significantly. That's why we were looking at bringing the intake into our house and paying our employee to do that. I think that's where the major part of the cost savings is going to be done.
Mr. Mark.
Are we going to require new computer systems and that kind of thing too?
At this time, CSG is allowing us to use their software system for the issuance of the building permits.
Okay.
And I know Springbrook, who has our financial software system package that we have with them, has a module for building permits. So I know Lou has scheduled a meeting with them, and they're going to kind of give him a demo. And then, because if we had that, then everything could tie directly into our financial system already. So that way, when the new building tech puts something in, it automatically goes into the accounts that it needs to go into. And then that would save city some time that way as well. So we're going to evaluate that and along with the cost.
Sounds good.
Hey, any other questions from the council for Michael? If not, I'm going to open this up to the public for any comments.
I don't see any hands.
Okay, I'm going to bring it back to the council for direction.
I move that we approve Amendment Number 1 to the building permit service agreement with CSG Consultants.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you,
We're
Mayor.
gonna move on. I'm sorry, Michael, do you have something?
No, I was just saying thank you.
Okay. We're moving on to item 11, items from District 5, Stanislaus County Supervisor, Mr. Jim DeMartini. Welcome, Jim.
Good evening, Mayor Martina and members of the council. Wish I was with you there in person, but I'm here in front of the computer right now.
You're always invited to my house, brother.
Okay. Well, we should have the meeting over at your house then. So I just hate this computer. I have to have my wife turn it on for me because I don't even know how to do that. But anyway, I wanted to give you a little report on the lightning complex fire that was up Del Puerto Canyon area. That fire started on the 18th of August. On the August 25th, the Board of Supervisors declared a local emergency. And there was very significant damages up there. In fact, if you lived up there, there was no way to escape it. There was 171,000 acres that burned, which is huge. Burned everything up there, all the way across the line to Santa Clara County and Contra Costa. 20 structures were burnt. There was 466 miles of fencing destroyed. There was livestock that was killed in the fire. We don't know how many, but I know just one person up there lost 80 head, and we don't know how much more there is there yet. Then all the feed that was able to feed the livestock up there, that all burned up too. The ag commissioner is estimating the losses up there at $32 million. So because we declared an emergency, we are going to get some money, federal disaster money from the USDA. I don't know how much that is yet, but it'll be enough to cover a lot of the costs, but you have to fill out a claim. So we're having a meeting, like a ranchers meeting up there. They're on November 16th at 8 o'clock, but we're having it in Laird Park because Frank Raines Park has been damaged up there and it's not a good place to have a meeting. So we're doing it at Laird Park, which is at the corner of Grayson Road and Shiloh Road. At that time, I'll be there along with county staff, the Ag Commissioner, University of California, and we'll be going over what might be available for to get reimbursed from the disaster money. There's, $32 million worth of damage we estimate up there. So I think there are about 140 property owners up there. I have that here somewhere, but I don't see it right in front of me. So anyway, I just want to announce that we are having this meeting November 16th, 8 o'clock in the morning at Laird Park. If you suffered some damages up there, and I don't know how you couldn't if you lived up there, we'd like to talk to you and see what we can do to help you out. Okay, so speaking of fire, so we did get a letter, at least I got it today, from the Chief Bowen about the delay in dispatch calling the fire department. We're not sure yet what is causing the delay, but I should know by tomorrow or the next day, and we'll get back to you. There's about a 4-minute delay, which he's complaining about. Of course, he has the right to complain about that. So we don't know why that delay happened between the dispatching an ambulance and notifying the fire department. Lance Doyle from Mountain Valley is looking into it along with the emergency services operational director, Richard Murdoch. We should have something on that tomorrow or the next day. I just got this letter today, so I put in a call into them, and they're trying to find out what happened. At this time, I can't tell you why the delay has occurred, but we will find out this week and get back to the chief. And then the only other thing I have, is the healthcare task force. I don't know if I can pull this up. This is our theme here. I don't think that came out too well. Eat healthy, live long, and live strong. I'm making the first presentation to the school board in Newman on Monday, and then the following week, the 21st, to the school district in Patterson. The one in Gustine is already done. And so this is our 12th year at the art and essay contest. And so once the school board approves it, in these other 2 school districts, which I'm certainly will, because we've done it for 12 years, then the contest will begin, and the contest will end on November 4th. We will judge them at Gustine City Hall, and then the winners will be announced on December 3rd. And at that time, we'll have our calendar put together with the winners. We've had a tough year, it's a nonprofit. I think everybody has had problems with this coronavirus, just like nothing's went well this year. But at least the task force is able to do the art and essay contest. Even though, as our health summit got scrapped because of social distancing and a ban on large gatherings. But at least we're going to do that. So that's all I have. Unless you have any questions about anything I mentioned or anything else, I'll be glad to try and answer them.
Does anyone have any questions for our supervisor? Okay, if not, we're going to move on to the next item, which is item 12. This is items from the city manager and staff. Michael?
Thank you, Mayor. So just a point of clarification. I know the council, we've issued some pretty big contracts the last couple of days, the last couple of meetings to Gouveia Engineering. And I know that members of the council have heard concerns from the public about some of their projects and some of the things that have been going on over there. I just want to do a real quick point of clarification. So a lot of the projects that you heard of, and they had their issues, and in no way, shape, or form am I trying to defend Gouveia, because there were some issues that they had, but we'll keep an eye on them. And that was really from the local stuff. The stuff that you approved today, the FHWA, Gouveia has been really good on that stuff. I mean, they really meet the deadlines. They really know that Caltrans stuff. I think a lot of the issues that you heard about from your constituents were from the last contract that you approved at the last one for the city engineering services. But we hear the council loud and clear, and we'll be keeping an eye on those and making sure that our constituents, our local developers, our local property owners are getting the quality customer service that they expect, and that the council expects that we receive from our contractors. So just a quick point of clarification on that. So just a quick update on COVID. So last Thursday, I was the liaison to the EOC. So I got to be in the room with Dr. V. And so Dr. V is seeing things trend in a positive direction in Stanislaus County. She likes the way things are going. This was a critical weekend for us because over Memorial Day, I think we had a 200% jump in the number of COVID cases over Memorial Day. And then we had a big jump, about 50% jump in after the 4th of July weekend. So, hopefully here in the next 10 days or so, we'll see that hopefully our residents in Stanislaus County, implemented good social distancing and mask wearing and some of those things, and when they went to events. And so, and we can keep Stanislaus County moving in the right direction. As you know, September 1st, our local hair salons were allowed to get open. That's my new little haircut that I got today. Hadn't got one in a while. So, it's important for our economy, for our business owners to be allowed back into their businesses, and a lot of them have worked many, many years to establish those businesses. So hopefully things will continue in the right direction. And then lastly, we are moving forward with the fall cleanup, and that's going to be in October. And so we're going to be working with Berlotti, to make sure that, whatever they need us to do to get the word out on what we're going to do for COVID regulations and protocol, we make sure we get that out in our social media and our flyers. We think we can probably get that done in a proper manner where protocols are observed. So we'll work with Berlotti on that and start getting word out through social media that's going to move forward. So other than that, we're working here. We've got a lot of great projects working forward. And I know Allie will talk a little bit about some of those projects, and Catherine too. And they're doing a good job of managing them. We got the new well coming on. We got some road projects. We got the Newman community conservation area, which is all the wetland projects. There's a lot of great stuff that's going on. We're just right in the planning stages of those. So with that, I can answer any question that any council member may have.
Well, let me say this. Excuse me. Let me just say this real quickly, is that when you talk about the projects and many things that we're doing here, the old school saying is that we're on the move and we're moving in the right direction. I'm really pleased with it, Michael.
Yeah, thank you.
My comment only was that you must be reading my mind, Michael, because I was going to ask you about the fall cleanup. So that's why you're a great city manager.
Yeah, and it gives us time. A lot of people want to plan for it. We didn't have one in the spring, and stuff is building up. I think it's important that we get that done. I think we can do it in a safe manner. So,
Thank you, Michael, for that. And with that, Ally, are you on the line tonight?
I am. Good evening, Mayor, council members. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Loud and clear.
Wonderful. So just touching up on what's been going on, Newman Eats, Newman Main Street Eats actually, has been going on for now. This will be our 4th week. It's actually been quite successful. We've been able to, go through the heat, go through the, you name it, heat, smoke. Luckily, everything has worked out for the businesses. The closure and the expanding of hours was actually really great as well. And the businesses are actually, taking heed to it. They're excited and they're happy that we are doing this event for them. With that being said, farmers market is right around the corner. So instead of taking a break for 1 week, I talked to all the businesses and we're continuing it. So all the businesses are running through the end of October, October 30th, for the downtown outside eatery. With that being said, it kind of changes gears. We are going to go with the Newman Fall Harvest Market, which is our take on a farmer's market. So far, we have 27 vendors enrolled, not including the restaurants. So we are definitely getting a lot of interest and hype about our upcoming farmer's market. With that being said, of course, we're trying to keep everything safe, COVID friendly. Since we definitely can't do events right now, we're trying to make it all safe and secure for the public. We will be running 2 different slot hours. Our Farmers Harvest Market will start at 3:30 and run till 7:30 on Fresno Street, the 900 block of Fresno. And then subsequently, our Main Street Newman Eats will start an hour earlier. So instead of starting at 6, we'll start at 5. So we'll have 2 hours of overlap between Main Street Eats and Farmers Market. For those interested after work, coming downtown, getting some fresh produce, stopping and grabbing a bite to eat afterwards at the restaurants or the food vendor booths, they're more than welcome to enjoy that commodity that we're bringing for the event. And with that on the farmers market, it's been flowing quite well. Like I said, Maddo's newspaper and social media wise, we've been getting a lot of great feedback and a lot of people just questioning and interested in participating or going to the event. Apart from that, that's mainly my main focus right now. And with that, I can turn it around to the council for any questions.
Ally, have you?
I don't have anything. Just a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ally.
Have you guys given any thought? I think it was the chamber that did it, or maybe an independent group for the trunk or treat.
We have discussed, I know that the partnership was the one who did the trunk or treat in correlation with us being one of the rec department being one of the people who participated in it. As of right now, the partnership has decided not to go forward with Newman Trunk or Treat. We have discussed it amongst the chamber and ourselves, trying to find a safe way to still continue that event, but yet keeping it safe for the kids and everything around. So that's definitely in the works right now with the chamber and figuring out what venue to take.
We want everybody to be safe.
Absolutely.
Ally, the only comment I have, thank you for the Friday night out. That's really working out nicely. I've been able to make 2 of the Fridays, and it seems like the last Friday, there was more people than I've ever seen. So apparently people find this something that they really like. So thank you, and thank all the people that have made it possible.
Absolutely. Everybody here who's worked, and at Michael, Public Works, Catherine, all the people that are making it happen.
I know Michael Pesarelli, he's out there all the time, and He's fine.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much.
You're
I have
welcome.
I have a quick question for you, Ellie.
Sure.
Am I missing out on something in reference to, do we have any type of events that's happening on Saturdays?
At this point, no, we don't have anything from the city or the chamber for Saturdays. I know we had talked about possibly extending our Newman Eats to Saturdays, but most of the restaurants prefer to keep it on Friday nights. And I think it also brings a downtown home vibe for Friday nights as a let's go to downtown.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
With that, Chief Richardson, are you on the line?
I am. Good evening, Mayor. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Just quick update. Labor Day was really uneventful this year. We appreciate maybe the heat kept everybody inside, but we appreciate the responsibility of the public. And I don't have anything else to report tonight, but I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the chief?
We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you for keeping us all safe, Mandy. We really appreciate it. And with that, we'll move on to Lou. Do you have anything for tonight for us?
Evening, Mayor and council members. Didn't have anything in particular tonight, but just to kind of keep you briefed, our finances were looking really good. We're on schedule with all of our audits. We'll be presenting our financial report either at the end of November or that first meeting, or actually the first meeting in November or the first one in December. On a side note, back in 2010, the city council at that time, a couple of you still here with us, authorized the purchase of our financial software, which has turned out to be a fantastic tool, especially in this COVID times. Part of that package has an online payment system. And as of today, more than half of our residents are paying their utility bills using that software, that's unheard of. Most people would prefer to go through the bank, but because we decided to not charge any additional fees to it, a lot of our residents have gone that direction. One of the great things is as the city continues to expand, it reduces our need for having to hire more personnel if we can continue to get people directed that way. Other than that, we're doing really good. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Lou. Really appreciate it. Okay, let's move on to Catherine. Catherine, do you have anything for us tonight?
Thank you, Mayor. We're just working our way through a lot of projects that you'll be seeing coming in the future. Thank you for the awarding all the contracts with all these consultants the last couple meetings. Now we're getting into the planning and engineering of some of the projects that you've approved. And so you'll see some public meetings happening on those and some projects come to fruition. So thank you very much. I'll take any questions.
Any questions for Catherine?
Up a good job.
Thank you.
Okay, so Fire Chief Bowen, are you on the line tonight?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Just a few things. It is fire season. We have two of our local guys deployed to the creek fire out in the Fresno area. They just left probably about an hour and a half ago. So they'll be gone for up to 14 days. That's on a rotational basis. So just want to keep you guys abreast of that. I want to thank you also for approving the VFA grant. That's a 50% match, but with our MOU with West Stand, we actually only pay 25% of that cost. So it's a great grant for us. So I want to say thank you for that. And then I want to thank Supervisor DeMartini for following up on that dispatch problem we're having. I can answer any questions you guys might have.
I'd just like to say to you, Chief, thank you so much. You know, we're in very difficult times with these fires and stuff, and I'm praying, you know, for all the families that have been affected by it. And we all have been sort of affected with the smoke. But I just want to thank you as our chief, you know, that basically you keep us aware of everything. I love the conversations that you bring down on the phone for us and keep us abreast. So I just want to thank you personally, brother. You know, just keep up that work, man, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, I had a question. What happened to the light bar in one of your trucks?
That's still being investigated, but it'll be reported shortly.
Is the police officer?
It's going to include a fine?
A firm. And if anyone wants, they can call Captain Lagruda, Jim Lagruda. He has all the details.
Oh, okay. Jim. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to move on to the council now. Casey, do you have anything tonight for us?
I don't. I just want to thank Allie. She's doing a good job down there. It's a good event. Seems like people are really enjoying it. I'm glad it's helping out the businesses in this time and at least get them, a little bit of business out there, a little bit more than normal. So any way we can help, it's good to hear that the barber shops and salons are back open. Hopefully we can get past all this and get them all open. So other than that, I don't have a whole lot. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you, Casey. Leroy, do you have anything for us tonight?
Just God bless you all, and I'll continue to pray and lift you up. Have a nice evening.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Leroy. Nick, do you have anything for us tonight?
I do have something I wanted to discuss. Michael, my question for you is, what are our alternatives for the Northwest annexation for the city of Newman? I know that we lost the election, but is there a way to continue that project and exclude those properties?
Thank you, council member, for the question. Yes, I believe there is a path forward if the council so desires. What we can do is, so I have heard back from a couple property owners, and the unfortunate thing is, or however you want to look at it, is under LAFCO law, people who actually registered voters who live on the property actually get to vote, not the property owner. So we've had some property owners that have expressed their desire to be annexed into the city, and I know at least one of them, their renters voted against it. So there are property owners out there that are supportive of the project. So with that being said, I think a path forward could be.
Michael, you're muted.
You mute, Mike.
Okay. Did you get any of that?
No.
Got the first part.
Yeah, just the first part.
Yeah, if you could just repeat the last.
You were at the path going forward. You were at the path going forward.
Okay, so the path going forward is to identify property owners that want to be a part of the annexation. And then we exclude property owners who are not interested in moving forward. That way we can go ahead and, again, if they're not interested in moving forward, we can proceed with our project without them. We believe there are a number of large enough properties out there that we could start a business park out there and start bringing jobs in. And we could start planning for residential future in the development with property owners that are wanting to go out there. So with that being said, I'll place a call to LAFCO tomorrow and have that discussion with them. And then hopefully what we can do is we know some that already want to be a part of it. And the other ones, we could send out letters asking them, hey, we want your direction. Do you want to be a part of it? Do you want to be included as part of the city's application, or do you want to be excluded? And then get some feedback from them. There's a few properties we already know they do not want to be a part of it, and we would just automatically exclude those properties.
Let's do it.
Oh, let's do it. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Michael, thank
Agreed.
you. My comment on this is, of course, that Northwest project is so important to the future of Newman. My feeling is that we have to continue to grow, and of course we don't want to grow too fast, but we need to grow, keep alive. So anyway, keep that project going, Michael. It's so important to Newman.
Okay, I will as council direction. I'll go ahead and I'll start collecting all the information I need and then put something together for a council agenda item that you can take action on.
Great.
Great.
Look
Thank you.
forward to it.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Nick, did you have anything else for us tonight?
No, that's all I have tonight.
And Murray, do you have anything for us tonight?
Just, we want to keep that Northwest project moving forward. Stay safe, everyone.
And I would just echo what Murray just said. Please stay safe and keep your family safe. And with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 5-0.
Have a good evening, everybody.
All right.
Thanks,
thank you.
everyone.
All right.
Take care. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good night.